Mike here from the Offgrid kitchen, and today we're continuing. So our theme is heating and off-grid heating and how we do it here. And we've got some guests coming on the show in the next few weeks. But today we've got Ayden. So we're going to bring Ayden up here. Ayden,
Guys.
Here we go.
There we go.
So Ayden, tell us a bit about yourself and what do you do?
All right, so I am a off-grid design and installer for solar systems we sell through the off-grid shop. Now I mainly focus on design. I don't know, what do you want to know?
So mate, tell us a bit about off-grid living. You're a hippie from the Shannon. So even spent some time in Kempsey too growing up, didn't you?
No.
Didn't you go and see your grandparents?
Cool. Yeah, my folks grew up in Kempsey.
Well, they're out of Kempsey, so I completely understand. I know many people that live out of town don't say they're from Kempsey, so
yeah.
I know where they're coming from. So,
no, cool.
Mate, tell us about your life growing up off-grid. Some of the stuff that off-grid you guys did growing up.
Yep. Look, so I think the first off-grid experience we had, we lived in a bush shack, once again built by some hippies in the Shannon. So we ran off a generator. That was it. That's all we had. It was 2 rooms, but it was reasonably well insulated. That place, concrete. We had bottle walls and can walls. Insulated roof. So we just had a fire in there, and it kept the place pretty warm. It did its job. Look, this is Lismore. We don't really get more than a month of winter.
Yeah.
The rest of it's pretty mild.
You do get some cold times though when it gets cold. So
yes. That did the job for us there.
So how'd you heat? How was the hot water done with the fire?
Hot water was gas.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we had gas hot water out there.
Yeah. Definitely. Back in the day, it was just like, we got a video coming on the channel on the weekend from a guy called Howie. Howie. Howie's first solar panels that he brought, I think he was paying like $400 a watt or something ridiculous, back in the early 80s. So solar was really expensive. So, using wood and gas and stuff like that was the way to go compared to, how you do it these days. So you guys had no solar guns, just purely on the generator?
Just a generator. That was all we had.
And the fridge, was it a normal fridge or?
I believe it was. Look, I was quite young at this time, so I can't quite remember. I'll have to get some more clarity on that one.
All good. Cool. And okay, so you've got a house in town, like me. You've got one in town. And then you've got your little build out in the Shannon. So tell us a bit about, because the house at the Shannon's going to be completely off-grid, isn't it?
Yes. So the house at the Shannon, I'm going to be building from the ground up. So I've got a heap of design and stuff in there. But it's been good having the townhouse more to see where people have gone wrong, to be honest. Yep. So, for example, the only trees in my property are on the northern face. So it means in winter, I have shade in my house. And in summer, sun's straight down on top of it. Doesn't help much. So in the Shannon house, I'm going to have most of the trees going to be in the western face to block that the afternoon sun, and completely open on the northern, so deciduous trees as well.
Yeah, it's underestimated what people do with underestimate trees and then external data of my old house in Sydney, and you could really see when we lived there how much aircon we used to use. So I had running bamboo on the western wall.
Yep.
Big concrete, was a brick western wall, and we had plans to reverse veneer it to stop that heat coming through. And we never got around to it. So I actually just grew some running bamboo down the side. It was as soon as the people that brought the house, they cut all the bamboo down, and then wondered why the energy bill went through the roof, and would run the aircon all summer. So, So, cool. So tell us about your house in town. Tell us about some of your heating challenges that you've got. You've just installed some aircon, yeah?
Yes. So In the townhouse, yeah, I just installed a couple of air cons, and we're using some thermal imaging at the moment to see exactly where all the heat's escaping. But so far, this house is reasonably well insulated. I'm going to replace the insulation of the roof because it's just sucking up mold. It's just some foam insulation. But yeah, I just have a small 3.5 kilowatt aircon in my bedroom, and running that at just at 20 degrees, it uses no energy.
Yeah. Cool. So what is no energy? Like how many watts would that be pulling?
Look, that unit pulls 800 watts when it's running flat out. And I think over the course of a night, it uses 3.5 kilowatts when we run it at 22 degrees all night.
Yeah, cool. That's quite hot for overnight, 22 degrees.
Yes. we'll give it in the flogging. We'll give it some testing.
Yeah, cool. So you're not planning to put any fires or anything in this house here?
Not at this house. It's up high. It's all timber. It's nowhere really to put it. So there'll definitely be a fireplace in the chung house. Not out here.
Cool. So tell us your plans, so what's the off-grid system that you're going to be putting in town here? We'll start that one first, and we'll talk about the off-grid system out of town.
Yep. So first one that's going up, it's about to go up, is a 10 kilowatt solar edge, just a grid tie system. So look, that'll pretty well cover all my loads, but I will be adding a Victron and Pylon Tech system just to back up one of the phases of my house. Got Pylon Tech just for the cost factor for the meantime. This house again is just a trial run for the Shannon house, realistically.
Yep.
Once we get out there, I'll put a bit more money into the battery system.
Cool. Yeah, something we've never really actually tested and tried is our Pylon Tech. Well, we've done them in Redback a lot, but never in.
Not with the Victron system, so I'm keen to see how they go.
Cool. Tell us, so we'll end with heating. So tell us about how you're going to make this place energy efficient with heating in the Shannon.
Yeah, well, look, there's plenty of timber on the property at the Shannon, so we are going to have a wood heater. But for the most part, the whole house is going to be built with Hebel, aerated concrete. It'll be extremely well insulated. We're going to use solar span for the roof, so that's a fine insulation again. It's really high insulation rating. So for the most part, we will just use the wood heater. I enjoy sitting around a fire anyway, so it's a comfort thing. There will be an aircon and stuff there, for, if we're feeling lazy, basically. But more for the cold season, that'll be.
But that's the reality up here. That's the hardest thing I've found with our place, trying to do our place completely off grid for energy. And with the aircon, because we don't have the room for fire, and we're going to make it work. So we're going to, that Matt from Walker Stoves is on the channel in a few weeks, so make sure you subscribe and check it out, and come check out the Walker Stoves. And that's it. Remember that I showed you once upon a time was an island, kitchen bench island, had the glass cooktop and stuff in it, and it's like a rocket mass leader. So Matt's come on the channel, and so there's maybe something you could do out there and build a Walker stove.
Oh, awesome.
But that's the thing I found up here is, in the Northern Rivers, is you want the aircon first thing because it's free. There's no use getting the fire cranking in the morning for a couple of hours. Like for us, we run the aircon from 7 to 8:30, and it gets to turn off when Sarah takes the kids to school, and then over the afternoon, it sort of runs from 4 to 6 o'clock as well. It's more as soon as that sun's gone, it's cold. As soon as the sun's up, it's warm. So using the aircon is because you just don't want to get the fire crank and have it, because up here that's the problem. You only want the fire for a few hours overnight before you go to bed. And the same, you don't really want it going, and you don't need it every day because as long as the sun's out, it's hot up here. So
exactly,
that's where the aircons can be really simple and easy because you're not lighting the fire to keep the house hot all day long. Back on. So cool. So any other tips or tricks and that you're thinking about for heating for your place?
Well, look, another tip, my place that we're going to incorporate is going to be so it's the north facing, the whole front face of the building is going to be double glazed glass. So the roof's going to be angled towards the south. So in winter, when the sun is lower, the sun will hit the double glazed glass at the front, which will provide some heating. Whereas in summer, the overhang will sort of shade it out. Another thing that's just a design aspect, but yeah, look, insulation and a good aircon will do the job if you're retrofitting. It's just about, yeah.
Yeah, cool. And so, were you still planning with the front of your place to do like they do in earthships? Here, have you thought about incorporating a greenhouse? There you go. You still going to do that greenhouse design like in the earthships? Have it at the front?
Yep. So the greenhouse design will still be there. It's going to come at a later date, basically for budget reasons. But the design there I actually got from my grandfather's place over in New Zealand. So he has like a mud room at the front of his watchtower. He's got right up on the top of this hill near the beach.
So he lives in a watchtower?
He lives in a watchtower. It's pretty cool. But it's bloody freezing over there. But this mud room at the front is made completely out of single glazed glass, so it gets really hot really quick. And if he wants to heat the house, all he does is open the door to that mud room, and it heats the whole house quick as. It's really impressive. So he's got double glaze in between that, and then he uses that as a heater.
Yeah, so in the watchtower, it'll just it'll actually just suck the heat straight up through there. So that natural ventilation. So interesting. Yeah. The thermosiphon is the natural thermosiphon. So interesting. Okay, cool. So yeah, it's you see the earthships. They're great having that greenhouse in the front. I think a lot of the earthships have it. Without having that greenhouse in the front. So, yeah, cool, exciting. All right, any other tips or tricks you give anyone sort of designing and building?
I think that's about. There's also, in terms of it's not so relevant with heating, but having ventilation in the correct places for summer for cooling. So ventilation in the upper northern walls and the lower southern walls to get that air to really suck through the house from the cooler part behind your house or below your house, up through the southern side, and then push the hot air out the upper northern face.
Yeah.
There's
a lot of places in Africa. They literally just dig a hole at the back of the house, put a tube under the ground,
yep.
Just bury it down a couple of meters so it stays in that cool. And so there's a bit of a pipe that comes out, so you can actually suck the air through the ground, get it cold, and pull it through the house.
Exactly right.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff in the back of the permaculture book when it comes to that with that cooling sort of aspect. Okay, cool. So if you're someone, think about back to size. If you're someone on a budget, what sort of size could you realistically use an aircon on a small off-grid system?
A small off-grid system?
Yeah, what's the smallest off-grid system you reckon you can run an aircon on? What to do for heating?
Yeah. Look, most of the systems we design to run aircons. We use an AC coupled solar inverter.
Yep.
It's a little bit extra power during the day. So while the sun is out in the day, you get the house either hot or cool straight from the sun's energy.
But
I've lost you, mate.
I said if you're living in the northern rivers like we do up here, like our days are hot. You don't run the aircon, so literally you run the aircon first thing in the morning, first thing in the afternoon. Like you're not doing it from PV at all. So for heating.
Yeah, for heating. Yes.
Yeah. So you only got batteries. So what would you suggest there to someone that can't do the heating of a day from PV?
Can't do the heating of a day
with electricity.
Yep. So yeah, you're gonna want. It's gonna use probably at least a kilowatt and a half, probably 1.5 kilowatts morning and afternoon. So you want to have a big enough battery bank to cover that. It's a real.
Away with that little 3 kVA inverter.
Yep.
Yeah.
3 kVA inverter will run it if you use a similar system to the one I have.
Yep.
So I run this and it heats sort of half of my house, 3.5 kilowatt aircon. Heats the front half of my house. Yep. You run it for an hour in the morning and then you run it for an hour at night. stays pretty warm until we move to bed.
Cool, awesome. So yeah, so if you do it, you're going to want more batteries basically. If you do run them at night because you're running for batteries, which means more solar panels.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
To make sure the batteries get charged. So cool. So the question. So you said before with your house out there, Shannon, you're building out of what materials? The question there.
Hebel.
Hebel.
So Hebel is it's aerated concrete. It's a mixture of foam, sort of foam balls and concrete. Really light but really well insulated.
Yeah, cool. Are those panels from Doug or?
Yes.
Yeah, cool. Because they were an invention from Jordan or something, manufactured in Australia. Is that right?
Yeah, I believe so. A lot of people actually pour them themselves over here as well. So
Yeah. Cool. So did we lose you?
Yeah, I lost you. Sorry.
Okay. So they're just using foam and concrete.
Yes.
So you reckon we could recycle the foam from people's solar systems that they purchase and use that in your walls with some concrete?
Look, we definitely could. Produces quite a lot of foam in some of these systems. Solar packaging's got a ways to go.
Yeah, so cool. All right, and we've got the last question. Emily has asked, any tips for optimizing thermal efficiency of your home on a budget?
On a budget, look, seal up.
Sorry, you go.
Yeah, so you want to seal up all the air gaps, say under your doors, around windowsills, and get as much insulation in as you can afford, really.
Yeah, totally. It was like, yeah, at our shop, there's a room that gets freezing, and it's purely because the door just leaks. Every other room in our business is warm except that one, isn't it? Overnight, you can walk in, and in the morning, there's no air cons or anything like that. But yeah, the front door at the front just leaks air in through the door and freezes the room. So let's get those weather strips sorted out. So
yes.
Yeah, it was for me when I did my house. When our house used to be freezing, it was one of the best things I did. I think I spent about $50 at Bunnings, put the weather strips up and the foam seals up around the doors, and it was all good to go. So, yeah, cool, awesome. All right, mate. Well, yeah, thank you for giving us some tips and tricks and some education. And like I said, any questions or comments, post down below, and Aidan will be there to be able to answer any questions. If you're watching this video in the future, not watching live, just put the comments below, and Aidan will be able to get back to you or myself and have a conversation, let you know some tips and tricks about your off-grid build. So, cool. All right, guys. Thanks. Have a great day.